Yo, what up? It's your boy Mac the Wise Soul, your home for sneakers and sports. So hey, yeah. Let's talk about this week 6 in the NFL here. Shout out to everybody that's coming through in the chat. If you get in it, you get in. You get in. If you don't, you'll catch the replay. Anyway, so you already know. Look, I was trying to be honest with you. I was trying to wait for this Buffalo Kansas City game to end, but they are taking way too long, and I'm kind of paying attention to that on the side. But anyway, we're going to talk about some of the matchups that happened this weekend. As far as today, as you know, the 49ers took an L to the Atlanta Falcons. I have some people who sent me some messages, you know who you are, talk a little smack. Some Falcon fans actually didn't want the dub, but they tanking for another reason, so I understand that. Also, we're going to go ahead and talk about some college football a little bit. And I'll talk about also my NBA preview that we're going to have coming up sometime this week. I'm going to have some guests on for that, so we can go ahead and talk about the NBA season that's going to start this week. Shout out to Dub Nation. Y'all know that's the squad. I'm always rocking with Dub Nation. So anyway, the 49ers and Falcons, it didn't go as planned. 28-14 L to the Falcons. We went to the game. I'm not going to say injuries played a part again, but, we can always use that excuse as injuries hurt us. I mean, we were missing, 5 starters on defense. I think by the time the game ended, we were down 7 starters on defense. That plays a role in the game. I don't care what anybody says. When your players are out, it plays a role in the game. Nevertheless, the 49ers have a deep team, and the depth of the team has been tested pretty thoroughly, this Sunday or the last couple weeks, to be honest with you. We went ahead and got the W in Carolina. Took some injuries then, and now we rolling here in Atlanta. And we took an L there. So anyway, let's talk about it. I'm gonna try to wait for one of the guests to join before I go too deep into it. But the game got off to a slow start. The Niners, the first possession, the Falcons controlled the tempo of the game. They ran the ball down our throats the first possession. That was, I won't say uncharacteristic of the Niners, but we don't allow teams to just bulldoze us like that. That does not happen. Like, it just doesn't. Hey, what up, Nitro? Shout out to my boy Nitro for coming through. I appreciate you coming through, my guy. Yeah, man, that set the whole tone of the game. I could looking back at it now, I could say, yeah, it looked like it was going to be a long day for us, and it was. But I hate that first possession went that way. Atlanta was pounding the rock, man. They had so many carries. They used like a dual backfield. They had with Algiers, Huntley running the ball, and we couldn't stop it. And we couldn't stop the ball. So that first possession, I want to say it was at least 8 to 9 plays. They marched 80 yards minimum on us. Now, again, the 49ers didn't. Why do I sound like an announcer? I don't know why I sound like an announcer, Nitro. I don't know. I'm in that mode right now, I guess. But what was I gonna say? The Niners, they missed Nick Bosa, obviously, on that defensive line. But I think the biggest key to what they missed was Eric Armstead. Like Eric Armstead in the middle would have helped out a lot. Javon Kinlaw, even though he got the knee issues, it is what it is on that end. But we missed 3 of our 4 starting defensive linemen. And that's why the Falcons were able just to run the ball down our throat. Now, this isn't going to take anything away from Atlanta. They played well, man. They played a pretty good game. Their defense stopped our offense for the most part. I'm not going to say we inflicted had self-inflicted harm on ourselves, but when you throw interceptions and you fumble the ball and leads to points, that's self-infliction of harm on yourself. So that happened as well. One thing that really also bothered me in this game was not only were we down 14-0 early, I felt the times that we were down big, which was pretty much most of the game, there was never any urgency from the squad. Like never any urgency to get back into the game and make plays. Maybe a little in the second quarter. I think we put up 14 points in the second quarter. That was the only time it felt like, hey, the Niners are urgent. We're trying to get back into this. And it happened. We tied the game up. Brandon Ayuk, shout out to Brandon Ayuk, Arizona State Pac-12 representative. He did what he could do, for his receptions, his targets. He made plays. I'm refraining from saying this is a Jimmy Garoppolo loss because, in all honesty, this game was not on Jimmy G. He made plays. He made enough plays to win. I know a lot of people talk about Jimmy G and they have this love-hate relationship with Jimmy Garoppolo. I myself have a love-hate relationship with Jimmy Garoppolo. And some of my people will tell you there are weeks where I'm like, hey, Jimmy G's cool. And there's time where I'm like, hey, I'm off of Jimmy G. I'm done with him. Let's get this dude up out of here. Going into this season, that was the season where I was like, hey, Trey Lance is the starter. Let's get this dude up out of here. And that's kind of how I felt, man. I was anti-Jimmy. But nevertheless, Trey got hurt, and Jimmy was the only thing we really had left as an option. Thankfully, he resigned as a backup, and here we are. So last week, Jimmy played well. This week, Jimmy played well enough to win. So what was the true cause of the L this weekend? The defense didn't play well enough. We gave up too many rushing plays. Like, let me go ahead and try to pull up some stats here so we can take a look. Give me 1 second. Let's see what we got here. let's go ahead and just take a look at a few things. Let's see. All right, so if we go ahead and take a look here at the box score, let's just pull out the box score here. As you can see up here, we were down 14-0 in the first quarter, ended up going into the halftime down 21-7. But what I really want to point you to here is the numbers. Numbers never lie. Like, that's what they always say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. So Jimmy Garoppolo, 29-41 for 296 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. If Jimmy Garoppolo was asked to throw the ball 41 times in a game, we are not winning the game. That's just what it is. A good number for Jimmy Garoppolo was anywhere from 22 to 28 passes in a game. Anything above that means something really wrong is happening, because this is not what Kyle Shanahan does with Jimmy Garoppolo. He doesn't let Jimmy cook, as we would say in quarterback terms out here in the NFL. The fact that he threw the ball 41 times, and not only that, he only had 296 yards. So we weren't even getting the ball pushed downfield. And that's not one of Jimmy's strong suits, obviously. But let's go focus down here to rushing. This is ridiculous. This is not a Kyle Shanahan stat line. Jeff Wilson Jr., 7 carries, 25 yards. Deebo Samuel, 2 carries, 11 yards. Jimmy Garoppolo, 3 carries, 11 yards. Obviously, those are scrambles. Tevin Coleman, 4 carries, 3 yards. This dude didn't even average a yard per carry. We had a total of 50 yards rushing. That's not Kyle Shanahan football. Everybody knows Kyle Shanahan likes to push the ball on the ground and punish teams. He normally sets up the run with passing, kind of opposite of what a lot of NFL teams do. But when you get down, and I mean down big, you obviously have to abandon some of that philosophy. But I'm mad. I'm sick that we lost this game. Like, I'm sick. The Falcons, I can't even say that they're trash, because the Falcons have played above my expectations so far this season. They're 3-3. They're pretty much going to be tied for what? First place in the AFC South or the NFC South? Nobody saw that coming, man. Like, nobody saw that coming. Look at the other stats here. The Niners had Ayuk had 8 receptions for 83 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kittle finally got involved, 8 receptions for 83 yards. Deebo, 7 for 79. Things that hurt the Niners were opportunities were missed. We missed too many opportunities to make big plays downfield. Ray McCloud had a drop pass. Charlie Warner, he had a drop pass. And these are like big chunk plays. I'm talking about 20-yard gains. It just, it's frustrating. It's frustrating to see this Niner team, because I know we're really, really talented, and the depth of the team was really tested today. And let's look at the Falcons real quick. Look at the Falcons. Marcus Mariota, hands down, I'm not going to call him the MVP of today's game, but he made a play every time the Falcons needed a play. Marcus Mariota made a play. He was 13 of 14 for 129 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was only sacked 2 times. So look at that. He damn near had a perfect game. Like, I mean, 13 of 14, he had 1 incompletion the whole game. That's ridiculous. Like, no, you only do that in Madden. And in Madden, that don't even happen a lot in Madden unless you're playing me. Other than that, nobody's really going to do that in Madden. He didn't get the ball downfield, but he didn't have to, because look at this stat right here. The Atlanta Falcons, 16 carries, 59 yards for Huntley. Algier, 15 carries, 51 yards. Mariota, 6 rushes for 50 yards. Now keep in mind, they weren't getting a lot of yards per carry, but they kept pounding the rock. And when you do that, you wear defenses down. And that is exactly what happened. We didn't have the depth on the defensive line to rotate and get fresh players in. And at the end of the day, that's what cost us the game. We weren't fresh on the defensive line. We couldn't do enough on the defense to stop the Atlanta rushing game. If you get 3 yards of carry, hey, 3 carries, you pretty much got a first down. So if you can't get off the field, that hurt us a lot also. We weren't getting off the field in third downs. And to be honest with you, there weren't even a lot of third downs where we should have got off the field. And that's the sad part. Like, it's, oh my gosh, the text messages I were getting, I'm frustrated. If you can't tell already, it's frustrating when you know your team is better than how they perform. And I talked about it with my dude vlogging. Any given Sunday, these kind of things happen. It's just what it is. Like, any given Sunday, man. Like, some of these other games that went down this weekend, you know, there are a lot of teams who did perform well, but I had to make sure I started with the 49ers because that's who I rep. So 49ers, we just didn't play well. Hopefully the guests show up and we can talk about that Falcons game a little bit more later. But some of these other games right now, I'm trying to watch the Buffalo Chiefs game. This was probably the second most anticipated game of the day, if not the most anticipated game of the day. The Sunday night game would be the next one, obviously the Cowboys and Eagles. But the Bills are currently up, 24-20. I'm watching it kind of out the corner of my eye, so forgive me if I get a little distracted right now. It's a lot going on. But shout out to Buffalo and Kansas City. That's another thing. The 49ers play Kansas City next week at home. And could you say that we were looking ahead? I would think a Kyle Shanahan team wouldn't be focused ahead 1 week, but they like to play the game right in front of them, especially with Kyle Shanahan going back to Atlanta for the first time. I would think he would want to be focused for that game, so I'm not going to say that the 49ers peaked ahead and that's what cost us. But, I mean, it's very well a possibility. So, Buffalo, Kansas City, that looks like a close game right now. The Patriots and Browns. Look, I will be honest with you, that Zappy dude for the Patriots, Mac Jones might have lost his job. Like, hey, Bill Belichick has done it in the past. He's taken the quarterback out and just said, hey, you know what? You're not my QB no more. I'm going to go with this dude, Tom Brady. I'm not saying Zap or Zappy is Tom Brady. So don't take this clip and run with it. Nobody's saying that. All I'm saying is the kid is winning games. He's playing well. And your quarterback before was Mac Jones. Is Mac Jones that good to where he automatically gets his gig back when he comes back healthy? I can't say he is. I mean, I can't. So if Zappy keeps balling like he's balling, man, he might have to keep playing. It's the same thing going on in Dallas. Cooper Rush is playing well enough for Dallas to win. Is he explosive? Is he making big down the field plays? Not necessarily, but they're winning and he's doing it in a productive manner. So, sometimes your starter ain't really your starter. Sometimes your starter you find out is somebody else. So New England, they got a controversy going on, with Mac Jones and Zappy at the QB position. And the Cleveland Browns, their whole season is a dumpster fire. Shout out to Deshaun Watson. It is what it is with Cleveland. Jacoby Brissett, he's trying to keep them afloat, especially in that division right now, because that division is, they're 2-4. They're really only a game out of first place still. Nobody seems to be ready to run away with that. Baltimore, we'll talk about them in a second. Cincinnati, nobody's necessarily running away with that. So also, let's see, the Jets and the Packers. Let me go back to sharing some more here on the screen real quick. The Jets. Let's talk about the New York Jets. Like, hey, these New York teams, hey, I'm going to be completely honest right now. The New York teams they've been impressive. The New York football Giants and the New York Jets have been impressive, especially the last 2 weeks, man. Like, Robert Saleh at the Jets, he's got them doing stuff that they haven't done before. Obviously, their first round picks are starting to pay off for them. They just got their quarterback Zach Wilson back, 2-3 weeks ago. Even when Flacco was there, they were losing games, but the Jets were in pretty much all the games they played so far this year, which is kind of wild when you think of the Jets. You're like, the Jets ain't got nobody, but they got Sauce Gardner. They got Breece Hall, who looks like another steal at a running back position for them. They got their receivers. What's the dude they got out of Ohio State? The wide receiver, my boy Spade knows. He talks about him a lot. They got talent. Like, they're not there yet. They got Quentin Williams on the defensive line. They're not there, but there's something going on in New York right now with the football teams. And I think a lot of it has to do with coaching, because it's not all talent right now. Like, a lot of teams that you see, you'll know, hey, it's pretty much talent. And right now, it's talent mixed with a little bit of great coaching, and that's what's happening right now. For example, the Giants. The Giants, they just played Baltimore at home, and I'm a big believer in the Ravens. And let me rephrase that. I'm a big believer in Lamar Jackson. I think as long as Lamar Jackson is on your team and he's healthy, I think he gives you a chance to win. And for the Giants to do what they did today, to me, I was a doubter. I can acknowledge, hey, I didn't believe in the Giants and I think you guys were any good. But I'm wrong. I think the Giants might be actually a legit team, man. Like, you look at their score here, they beat the Ravens 24-20 at home. They had a big second half. They put up, 17 points in the second half. The Ravens are a solid organization, man. Like, you beat Baltimore at any point, you have to acknowledge it, man. And I even had the Ravens, I want to say I had them in my top 5 in the power rankings. You can find that out, by the way, if you follow me on TikTok, the YSO, TikTok, Instagram, all of them. Sub up if you can. Follow me over there. I had the Ravens, I want to say 4th in my power rankings. My power rankings are going to change this week, and it's going to include some teams that I didn't necessarily believe in. But I think at this point in the season, we're starting to see teams starting to separate. Like I want to say the first month of the season, I looked at it kind of like preseason because players were like coming out of the game subbing because they were tired. The way football was going and it was being played, it just didn't seem like it was the NFL. Like, it was, but it wasn't. And now that, the last couple of weeks, I'm starting to see the games and how the teams are really playing. And teams are starting to separate themselves, man. I know it's early in the season. I'm not saying they're contenders. The Giants are Super Bowl contenders. The Jets damn sure ain't Super Bowl contenders. So I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying these teams are better off than I thought they were. I know the Giants have Daniel Jones as their quarterback, and that could be, something to talk about later also. But they're winning games, man. Brian Dable, the head coach, coming from Buffalo, he's brought some kind of culture there, man. And I think culture plays a role as well. Dable comes over there. Saquon Barkley is back, finally healthy. He's been playing, he's one of the league leaders in rushing. They're playing smart football, man. They had 2 first-round draft picks, 2 picks actually in the top, I want to say the top 10. But they're doing what they're supposed to do, and you can't necessarily count out the Giants, man, as far as playoff contention. And that leads me to another thing. The NFC East. I've joked about the NFC East for some time now. Like, I pretty much said the NFC East is the NFC least, and the numbers backed it up for the last couple seasons. None of those teams were really any good. I mean, the Cowboys won the division last year or the year before? It might have been last year. Everybody knew the 49ers were going to go into Dallas and smack the Cowboys. It was a given. There was no fear that Dallas was going to be this magical team coming out the NFC East. But this year, the NFC least, it's earned my respect. And I will stop referring to the NFC East as that and call them by their true name, the NFC East. The Eagles, the Giants, and Dallas, all 3 teams have been playing well. The Washington Commanders, look, they're still stuck in the NFC least era. That team is trash. The Washington Commanders are trash. Ron Rivera probably got to get clipped. Carson Wentz, he just ain't it over there. But those other 3 teams, man, at the way they're going right now in the season, it's fair to say 2 of them might make the playoffs. I mean, in the NFC, 3 of them might make the playoffs. It all depends on how it plays out. Obviously, there's a big battle in that division tonight between Philadelphia and Dallas. I did make my prediction for that. I think I uploaded the short on YouTube earlier. Again, it's on Instagram and TikTok. Follow me, the YSO, all platforms, Twitter. That's where I do all my sports talk. I do have Philadelphia winning tonight 27-17 over Dallas. But that game could go either way. Why are people hitting me up when they know I'm live right now? that game could go either way. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't be shocked if Dallas beat Philadelphia. But I really just think Philadelphia is they're a special team this year. Jalen Hurts is doing amazing things. He's elevated his gameplay over the last year. Like you're seeing the progression and you're seeing the steps. And it's wild. Like it's really wild to see Jalen Hurts progress like that because I honestly didn't think Jalen Hurts was going to do anything in the league. I thought when the Eagles took him in the second round, it was a reach. I thought, hey, this dude he's trash. He's going to be a bum. And he has definitely proven me wrong. Him, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, the defense, they got their cornerbacks, Bradbury and Darius Slay. They added the dude from the Saints to go in the secondary. The Eagles, man, the Eagles are true NFC title contenders. Obviously, I think the best teams still reside in the AFC, Buffalo, Kansas City. But I think out the NFC, man, it's the Eagles right now. Until somebody knocks them off of the pedestal, I think they're obviously the best team in the NFC. But Dallas, Michael Parsons, man, I don't want to say I'm a true blue Cowboys hater, but that's pretty much it to describe me in the T. I hate the Cowboys. As a 49er fan, you're just kind of born to do that. But Michael Parsons, he elevates Dallas's defense. Like, to be honest with you, I don't necessarily think Dallas's defense is just like overly talented. They just got players all over the field. But when number 11 is on the field, when he's on the field, man, he just elevates them and he gives them a chance, man. And even with Cooper Rush, they've been able to run the ball, keep the ball, no turnovers, and win games, man. And that's a recipe for success, especially in this day of the NFL, man. If you get to the playoffs, you got a tough defense and you can run the ball, anything is possible. Now, how that translates at the end of the season, I really don't know. Like, I don't. But, I mean, I guess we'll find that out, too. So, tonight should be a fun game. The primetime games have been pretty lackluster, especially the Thursday night games. But for the most part, there have been some duds for primetime football this season. So I'm hoping with the expectation of this game, it's definitely a better game and we get some scoring, some well-played football. If it's not a lot of scoring, just play good football. That's kind of all I care about. I want to see a good game tonight. But I do have Philadelphia knocking down Dallas 27-17. Hey, if you don't agree, you can let me know in the comments. It's all good. It's not that I'm biased against Dallas in this. I just think Philly's the better team. I might be biased slightly, but don't hold me to that. Anyway, that's what I think will happen tonight. So the rest of these games in the NFL, the Rams-Panthers was really nothing to talk about. The Seahawks and Cardinals, the Seahawks defeated the Cardinals 19-9. The Rams beat the Panthers. I mean, I don't know what's going on in Carolina. They fired their coach a week ago. Now they're saying some of their players are available for trade. You've had players that are on the sidelines arguing with coaches right now. That's kind of wild. Like, that's kind of wild. You're arguing with your coach on the sideline. Robbie Anderson, the wide receiver, got kicked off the field today. If you haven't seen the clip for that, they'll probably show it on ESPN and NFL Network tonight. He got kicked off the sideline by the coach because he was arguing with his position coach. So right now, Carolina is a dumpster fire. And if they're going to start unloading some of their talent, Brian Burns, the defensive lineman, pass rusher, or Christian McCaffrey, I think certain teams should entertain that. Especially one team, the San Francisco 49ers. Kyle Shanahan should entertain trading for Christian McCaffrey. And here's why. Yes, Christian McCaffrey is injury prone. He's been injured, 2 of the last 3 seasons. You gotta go for it, man. He's still on his rookie. Oh no, he's not on his rookie deal. His contract is serviceable enough to where we can manage it right now. I feel like you gotta make an effort, man, and go try to. This is a move I feel like the Los Angeles Rams will try to make. Trading for Christian McCaffrey and bringing in somebody to help your team. The 49ers, Elijah Mitchell, our starting running back, has pretty much been out for pretty much all the season. Probably isn't due back for at least another month. you need a horse, man. Like, Jeff Wilson is serviceable in a role. When you take Jeff Wilson out of that role and he's your primary back, I don't think he's good enough consistently every week to just be that dude. He's one of those ones where you want to bring in spurts and he'll hit you hard in spurts. You need a guy. And I think Christian McCaffrey is a guy the 49ers should entertain acquiring from Carolina. What the price is going to be, obviously, they're not asking for a first-round pick because we don't even have first-round picks, but you have to look in the mirror and say, hey, we're right now in a Super Bowl window. We have the defense. We have some starters coming back. We'll probably have 9 starters coming back in the next month. Adding a Christian McCaffrey will elevate the team. Not saying that we're not title contenders with them, but we're definitely title contenders if we add them to the roster. So I think John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, pick up that phone, call Carolina, find out what their price is. And I don't want to say, don't hit me with the, well, we called and we entertained it. Make an effort. Like, make an effort. Don't be, well, we discussed it, we kicked it around. I don't want to hear that you kicked it around. Make the transaction. Bring in Christian McCaffrey. I think he can help. At this point, he won't hurt. But most importantly, we got to get healthy. Big game against Kansas City coming up this weekend. We'll talk about that later in the week. We ain't gonna do predictions now. But anyway, I want to get ready for Sunday Night Football. I already gave you my predictions. Again, I'm gonna do an NBA live season preview coming up sometime this week. It'll probably be Wednesday night. I know Tuesday night is the opener for Dub Nation and the Warriors, ring night. So we'll probably do it on Wednesday. I'll probably have my dude Mark from the ISO Switch Show come through, and we'll do some NBA previews talking about the upcoming season, because it's pretty much the Warriors Invitational and the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. Those are the 2 big things that are coming into the season. You're either going into the Warrior Invitational in the playoffs or you're tanking. So it's going to be one or the other. We'll definitely get into that. I think this NBA season is definitely going to be something to talk about. So we'll address all that information. Again, if you catch the replay, don't forget to hit that like button. Sub up to me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I think I got a Facebook page also. Also, don't forget to sub up here on the channel. Share it, like it, tell all your friends. Come check out your boy Mac the Wiseau. Again, this is your home for sneakers and sports. The sneaker aspect of things, it's been kind of slow lately. The last pickup I think I have is right here on the Taxi Ones. That was my last pickup. And then before that was the Fire Red 3s. So, we'll get to some more sneakers. When some shoes come out that your boy wants, I didn't want the Canyon Purple 3s, or the Canyon Purple 4s this past weekend. I was cool off of those. I'm probably not going for the Midnight Navy 4s either. But the I'm Year 4s, I'll probably go after. And of course, we got the Lost and Found 1s coming up. So we'll get into all that kind of stuff also. But right now, this is Sneakers and Sports. I definitely appreciate you guys tuning in. Go ahead and enjoy your Sunday nights, man. I hope you guys have a good week. I hope to see you guys on Wednesday. Again, it's your boy Mac the Wiseau. I'm out. Gang.